How will the Saints use Taysom Hill in 2023? Off the bench overtime, Jacob Hester, Bob Hebert. When it comes to Taysom Hill, I've always said that he is such a dynamic player. The only way he can be dynamic is if you move him around and use him sparingly. The Saints get into a big problem whenever they force Taysom the ball. Whenever he's forced to play quarterback or running back or whatever, and all of a sudden he gets 15 to 20 touches. I think Taysom is much better whenever he gets 8 to 12-ish touches all over the field. I don't want him carrying the ball 20 times a game. I don't want him taking 20 snaps a game. I want him doing a little bit of everything at the perfect time. Knowing when to use Taysom is just as important as how to use Taysom. Whenever we get into a lull of like, we're using him every second play or we're using him every third down, that's where he kind of falls off. Last year, he was kind of forced into being used a lot more than I think he probably should be. And this year, with so many weapons now and a competent quarterback, asterisk, we'll see. I hope so. I have a feeling he will be. But with a competent quarterback, Taysom should be able to go back to that specialized dynamic player. So I would use him. The way I would look at him is, okay, we want to get Taysom, let's say 10 carries or 10 touches a game. Then I would think, well, let's get him 5 at running back, 3 at wide receiver, 2 at quarterback. That's how I would break it up. That's how I would do the algorithm with Taysom.
Really good piece on ESPN looking at Taysom Hill and kind of asking the question, should Taysom Hill get more, have more receptions this year? And it's a valid line of questioning, certainly. But I think the conversation then easily evolves, Jake, into what should Taysom Hill's role on this New Orleans Saints be? And
he is and should be like a catalyst to the offense. He should be, if you have like a dish, now we're about to get into a crazy off the rails metaphor. So buckle up if it's your first time watching. If you have a dish and you have like a steak and then it has some sauce on it, Taysom is like that one random thing that's added for like texture or, some kind of special salt or some kind of special herb. It's not the whole dish. It's not even the sides. It's just that one special thing that's unique to that restaurant that makes the dish all come together. That's what Taysom is. The problem with Taysom in the past is we're forcing Taysom to have 15, 20 touches, which takes touches away from Kamara, which takes touches away from Olave. He shouldn't be doing that. If there's so many times where Taysom has been the quarterback in a situation where the actual quarterback should be the quarterback. He's the running back when the actual running back should be the running back. You know what I'm saying? So the goal should be to use him up until the point to where it starts to take away from the better players. Now, a lot of the fan base pushes back to me with this, and they say, well, what if Taysom's the better running back? He ain't. What if Taysom's the better quarterback? He ain't. What if Taysom's our best wide receiver? He ain't.
The reason being, look, last year he developed arguably into your most dynamic piece of the offense. I mean, by the end of the year, he was really the only thing that was consistently working or that was consistently threatening defenses, right? We all remember the Cleveland game where Jake was basically pulling his hair, pounding the table for Pete Carmichael to recognize what the weather was and to just start pounding it with Taysom Hill, which they did in the second half. And, well, you remember what ended up happening. Remember, he had 7 touchdowns on the ground last year, 96 carries, 575 yards. I mean, that is great in terms of pure rushing stats. But now, Jake, with Derek.
Now, let me say this. I can already feel T-Bob starting to fall into the trap. I can already feel him saying, well, if he had 97 carries and 600 yards, if you double that, he's going to have 1,200 yards as a running back. No, he will not. I'm telling you, the more you use Taysom at a specific thing, the more he's going to fall off. He's like a very similar version of Cordero Patterson, where if Cordero Patterson is just a running back, he's worse. That 100 rushes, that kind of ballpark there, that's perfect for Taysom. That's where he can be highly effective. That's where the defense can stay guessing. You want the defense to stay guessing with a guy like Taysom Hill.
Carr here and the reinvestment there, the old conversation about, well, do you take Derek Carr out for Taysom Hill QB snaps reemerges, and with Jamal Williams now on this team,
Right.
it's like, okay, well, now you have two legitimate short yardage options. Do they work together and complement each other, or
Yes.
do they end up kind of vulturing one another?
I think you have them in there at the same time. You certainly can. And, if you take Derek Carr off the field, obviously it's for short yardage situations. And,
Yeah.
and now sometimes it's going to be in the field as well, but like you have a dynamic quarterback at picking up a yard or two. Like a runner, I should say. Like he's not even a quarterback at that point. He is a runner. And you also have Jamal, who has shown in his career that he can do the same. And so the possibilities open up even more. Because
I have no problem with this. Like, if it's a 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 situation, and you put Taysom in there because you want to have the wrinkle of possibly a quarterback sneak, but he could also throw it, I have absolutely no issue with that. The issues come whenever, we're on like 2nd and 8 and Taysom's in there. We have paid Derek Carr a lot of money. Bottom line. He's the franchise quarterback. Bottom line. Like him or not. He is the franchise quarterback. You can't use Taysom just to use Taysom to the point to where you're taking 10 snaps away from your franchise quarterback per game. You feel me?
Because, last year you didn't have that back. Like you didn't have that back that people feared like you were actually going to hand it off to him. And so my whole thing is get more creative.
Yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about. The thing with Taysom is where Pete Carmichael fails is you have to be creative. Just like Jacob said. Have him and Jamal in the backfield at the same time. Have him, Jamal, and Kamara in the backfield at the same time. Have him and Derek Carr on the field at the same time. Have Olave, Michael Thomas, and Taysom on the field at the same time. Get creative with these packages. Get creative with the offense. Pete, I'm talking to you. Make things happen.
If you're going to have Taysom, he's going to have the contract. We know what it is. He's been successful. We'll become more creative because we said it last year. Like if Shanahan had Taysom Hill,
oh my God,
think about all the things that he would be doing with him.
True.
Yes.
Right now, that's not saying play him 15, 20 plays a game. That's saying if you play him 8 to 10, make sure those 8 to.
I mean, I don't even have to say it. I hope y'all are saying it in the comments below. I never cease to amaze myself. I throw 8 to 10, 8 to 12. 4 minutes later, they're saying it. The speed at which I'm firing here, the neurons, the brain capacity.
To 10 plays count, and they're creative, and they're not just, hey, Q power. So that's my thing. Like, be more creative because now you have a running back in Jamal Williams that I think is a perfect running back to go with Taysom Hill. And so, yes, use that as a true weapon down on the goal line. Use it in short yardage situations like we're talking about. And so I want to see how they use Taysom Hill because the tight end room, it looks really good now. It's healthy. Like it is one that during the draft, you're like, man, are they going to select one? They don't. They signed Foster. And now you've got 2 tight ends that you believe in. Maybe Kroll can be a 3rd tight end. So I don't know what his role is there. But if you're going to use him in the right way.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. I kind of agree with you. The blossoming of the tight end room does make me feel like I don't really need him to catch the ball that much more. Now, I did forget, in 2019, he caught 6 touchdowns.
But this is another issue. It's kind of like in the NBA 5 years ago when people were trying to force, like you have a point guard, a shooting guard, a small forward, a power forward, a center. That's all you have. Like, and then it kind of emerged to where, well, you may have you really don't have those positions. That's the same with Taysom. If Taysom is playing tight end, he's not the tight end. He's not part of the tight end room. He is a special thing all to himself. And maybe that's where Pete Carmichael gets messed up. Pete may think okay, we have to have a tight end here. We have to have wide receivers here. We have to have one running back here. If we want a fullback, he's got to stand here. Get creative. If Taysom's on the field in that tight end role, move him around. Find the mismatch. You don't have to it's not like a blueprint of he's got to run tight end routes or stand in tight end places. Obviously within the confines of the rules of the game, but get really creative with that. Taysom getting receptions should not be considered as he's one of the tight ends or he's taking away from the other tight ends. It should be a completely separate thing, whatever Taysom's doing, just like when he's running the ball. If he's running the ball, it shouldn't be, oh, well, he's part of the running back room. He's a specialized, very unique, dynamic thing all to himself.
So he has had legitimate in-game over the course of his season receiving success. He caught 19 passes a year. He's only caught 21 total in the 3 seasons since. But yeah, I'm with you. With Juwan, with Foster, with that tight end room as it is, I don't know that I need him there necessarily, but whatever. It's like you line him up there and you can move him around. Like again, like Jake said, Pete Carmichael, it is up to you.
Yes, which is a dangerous proposition.
Utilize these weapons, none of which is more unique than Taysom Hill.
Yes.
I don't, and one thing I agree with you, Jake. I think when I think about short yardage, I think about Taysom and Jamal Williams together. I think that is a symbiotic relationship. Okay, I think it makes the teams better. I think it threatens the defense in a couple of very big, because what are you gonna? I mean, even just a simple zone read, like not being creative. Are you gonna commit to stopping Jamal Williams, who was a master of getting that yard last year, or are you gonna commit to Taysom Hill pulling? Like right.
I was pulling my hair out last year in the lows in the dome whenever we'd have Taysom in, but we'd have like the third string running back. Then it's like, okay, well, we know Taysom's getting the ball. It is imperative to be creative and have Kamara or Williams or whoever on the field so the defense is guessing. Every time Taysom gets the ball, the defense should be guessing. It shouldn't be like, okay, guys, it's 3rd and 1. Taysom is the only person in the backfield. Like the empty set, we did that a lot last year too. It would be 3rd and 1, and we'd go empty set Taysom from shotgun. Then it's like, well, what do you think is going to happen? Pete, what do you think is going to happen? Plug your headphones in. And I understand his misdirection was, well, maybe they'll sell out and Taysom can throw it. It ain't how it works, Pete. So hopefully we get away from that kind of stuff and get a little more creative with the packages.
You can really stress defense, but they will cannibalize each other's statistics.
Yes.
But don't mistake that for them having down years, right?
Who cares?
Things where they're
Who cares about cannibalizing each other's statistics? I mean, we're talking about a very small sample size for both of these guys. Neither one of these guys should be trying to get big time stats. I mean, he just read Taysom's from last year. What was it, 93 carries, 500 something yards? Who cares if that turns into 80 carries for 440 yards? What's the difference between 440 and 580? No one cares. These aren't bell cow lead backs. Like, these aren't the number ones. You're not, like, the difference between Foster Moreau's end of the year stats with Taysom vulturing a few catches, no one cares. No one's going to notice. The whole, like, that's another thing people force is, oh, a running back has to have blank carries for blank yards. Not if you have a very unique running room where you have 4 different people running the ball per game. All of a sudden then the old school Emmitt Smith style, Jerome Bettis style stats look a little different. We don't want to be that. We don't want to be the 1995 stat category where we're trying to fill a certain number of stats per position.
Actually, like, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Where, yeah, maybe Jamal Williams is going to score 16 touchdowns. Maybe Hill didn't score 7, but the Saints end up being better for the combination.
I think you need to be better. Where
what the hell are we talking about?
I thought there was times they struggled on the goal line.
Yep.
They were terrible.
Even in the red area, because you can use it down there as well. I think
they were terrible because of play calling. We were the most non-creative team in the NFL. If you go back on this channel and watch videos from during last season, I came on here every single week, multiple times a week, and lambasted the Saints for how uncreative they were, for how just same thing every game. That's why we were bad in the red zone.
I think that's just the thing with Taysom is a lot of people have different opinions on him being a Saint and, and the money that he's made and his roster spot on the team, but it just got to come down to a better plan, in my opinion. Like, there's in the years that he's played for the Saints, I feel like there's really one year where it's like, okay, that's how you use Taysom Hill.
And look who he had.
Way back to that because he's on the roster.
Taysom, look, here's the deal. Another metaphor. If we were playing a video game, you know how you have some characters who are like really easy to play? It's like, this is just a very linear player. You can pick this character, a beginner can play him, whatever. Then you have some characters who are very difficult to master. They're very advanced, like their move set or their buttons you got to press, all that stuff. Taysom is the advanced, hard to play character. It takes someone like Sean Payton. It takes someone like Kyle Shanahan to really, really utilize him. It doesn't surprise me at all that Taysom struggled with Pete Carmichael. It is up to the planner. I don't know why I enunciated the planner. It is up to them to be able to use Taysom. If you stay in that cookie cutter, non-creative, very linear offensive scheme, Taysom will not be anywhere near what his full potential is.
He's on the team. He is going to be a part of what you do, but you have to have a better plan and a better idea and not just, well, this feels like a good time. Let's throw him in there.
And we're going to find out.
Agreed.
Is Pete Carmichael that guy this last year? I think that he's going to be given to prove.
Yes.
To take advantage of this opportunity post Sean Payton. Wow.
Yeah, 100%. Let me know, guys, in the comments below. Let me actually say something here. I hate to do this. Because y'all know I don't like to, give tidbits on as far as like media goes. But we're deep enough into the video that, I don't understand why Off the Bench does this. They start their videos with a greeting. It's a generic greeting that lasts 16 seconds. Okay, I'll play a little bit of it.
T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
See, they do this every single video. I don't understand why, because number one, you are risking that the audience is going to stay with your video for 17 seconds to get to the actual video. Analytics show you probably have closer to 5 to 7 seconds to get someone's attention. Because they probably sat through an ad to get here. So think about sitting through an ad, and then this basically is another ad for 17 seconds to get to your video, which you're probably going to make your point within 10 to 15 seconds. So then you're wagering that they're going to be with you at least 30 seconds, which is tough, And then at the end of the video, they do the same thing. They do another ad that thanks you for watching and then talks about subscribing and all that other stuff that lasts another 10 seconds. And it's every single video. So if you watch 10 of their videos in a row, you watch this 16-second, you're watching over a minute of this intro thing. If their producers are watching, which I know they are, cut this part out. Just go straight into the video. Jump straight into the topic. We don't need this. I think this was hurting y'all analytically. Now, y'all watch. If this goes away, if this chunk goes away here in the next couple weeks, then we know we have scientific proof that they're studying the GOAT. They're studying the king. Anyways, that's a little tidbit for all you content creators. Let me know in the comments below, Saints fans or even non-Saints fans, how do you want to see Taysom Hill used this year? Do you think Pete Carmichael has the guts and the brain to figure it out and to solve the riddle? Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.